What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Mid-Level Media channel, your hub for everything physical media entertainment. We are here today for another Blu-ray review. This time we're going to be talking about the latest VESTRON video release of Sundown, Vampire in Retreat. This one just came out this week, so I am fresh to the review for this one. I don't think I've seen a lot of reviews, a lot of people talking about this one. And this is one that absolutely should be on your radar. And we're going to talk about why here in a second. But before we get into it, guys, I want to ask that if you are not yet a subscriber of the Mid-Level Media channel, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button for more great content. Just tons of physical media-based content on this channel that I would definitely love for you to come check out. Also, be sure to hit that like button, guys. It really helps out the video and the channel. And also comment down below if you purchased this release. Also, if you've seen this movie before, what are your thoughts on it? Leave all that in that comment section below. And let's have a conversation about this movie. But yeah, let's talk about it, guys. Let's talk about Sundown, the Vampire in Retreat. So I had never heard of this movie before in my life until I got this announcement a couple of months ago from Vestron Video, and the artwork on this looked freaking insane. Looked awesome, and I was like, it's a Vestron Video title. They're very cheap and affordable. As you know, I bought this on my Blu-ray hunt this week. If you're watching my content and stuff on a regular basis, it was only $12.96 in stores. So yeah, I blind bought this, picked it up, and this was a fun little movie. It's not a masterpiece by any means. But yeah, I can't believe that more people don't talk about this, because it feels a lot like in the same vein as like a Tremors movie. Just like a very nostalgic, like early 90s, late 80s monster movie. It even has like a very similar setting to Tremors, taking place like in like the desert, kind of like the Old West, like abandoned town kind of setting. And yeah, I really enjoyed this movie. I thought it was really good. It's a campy horror comedy. Like there's a lot of comedic elements in it. But yeah, this was fun. This was a fun movie. It's like part Western, and it's like part monster movie. It's a vampire movie. And the premise is really cool, and I don't think I've seen anything quite like it. You have this head vampire, Count Mardulac, played by David Carradine, who of course is Kill Bill from the Quentin Tarantino Kill Bill movies. Was also in the old Kung Fu show, but I mostly know him as Bill from Kill Bill. He leads this group of vampires, and he's basically like fed up with the vampire race and how they're like basically just feeding off of humans, and he compares them to parasites. He doesn't like the nature of what they do as vampires, so he's trying to change things. And he basically like isolates his group of vampires in this small town, and is trying to develop this synthetic blood so for them to drink instead of human blood, so they can kind of coexist with the humans and kind of live in harmony with them. And it's an interesting setup, because you don't really see, you don't really have that start for like the vampires monster movie. Like the leader of the vampires is usually wanting to attack the humans or lead a revolution to take over the humans, which we do have a character in this movie that's like that. Of course, there's always an opposing force when somebody's trying to do good, but you basically come into this movie with the vampires in the town, and they're trying to be good. They're trying to develop the synthetic blood. They're isolated from humanity at this point, because they're still trying to figure out how to produce this blood in mass so they can all drink and be satisfied and then coexist with the humans. So yeah, it's a very interesting setup. They can also wear like this sunblock. They already developed the sunblock that keeps them from frying in the sunlight. So you open up with the movie, you got these three older men just sitting on the bench, and you don't like necessarily realize that they're vampires right when the movie starts, but then you quickly realize it, because the one guy who's played by is a very notable actor. I think his name is Emmett Walsh. He's been in some Coen Brothers films. I definitely know him from stuff. I just can't think of anything specifically that he's been in. But yeah, he basically gets up, this douchebag pulls into town in his car, and he's like doing cocaine, and he's being a douchebag, being an asshole, and he just like swipes his head right off his body and then shows his teeth. And yeah, it's right from that moment, like just the way that moment's played, it's definitely played for comedy, but I thought it was a pretty cool little moment and introduction to this film. And yeah, this movie, it's not meant to be taken seriously at all. Like I said, it is more like in the vein of a horror comedy. I think all the characters are really fun. You got Bruce Campbell in this movie, who's basically playing like a Van Helsing type character. And he's really good in this performance. This is like right around the time he did Evil Dead 2. So this would have been the year after, because this movie came out in 1989. So he's still that young, fresh-faced Bruce Campbell, and he's really good in this movie. And this would have been like right before he did Army of Darkness, because I think that came out in 1991. So yeah, he's playing like a Van Helsing type character, but there's some goofy stuff that goes on with his character, some fun things that happen with him and one of the girls that's in the film, and I forget her name off the top of my head. I know she did a lot of genre films and stuff in the 90s, but this movie's got a real good cast. Like I said, David Carradine, Bruce Campbell, Emmett Walsh, and Morgan Brittany, who plays the mom of this family and the wife to the guy that's like basically helping them try to develop this synthetic blood. And there's this like little love triangle between like her and her husband and this other guy who's like helping the vampires too, but it's never really clear if he's a vampire until like the very end. So yeah, it's I could have done without that stuff. All the family stuff wasn't really the strongest points of this movie to me, if I'm being honest. But yeah, this is a fun little story. It's just a really original movie. I've just never seen anything quite like this. So it was a pretty fun surprise. The effects are mostly good. The only thing I'll say is, and they talk about this a little bit in the special features, the bats, like the little CGI, like stop motion, like bat sequences with them flying and turning into bats, looked very goofy and strange because they would show them like up close too, like right in your face they would show them. And they looked extremely fake, and they were supposed to be small, but they were like big, and you could tell that somebody was wearing like some kind of bat bodysuit, and then they would pan out and you would see the same figure and they'd be flapping. So yeah, very cheesy effects when it came to those bat scenes. But then when the actual like transformation, the actual makeup of the vampires, that was all very well done effects work for this era. So yeah, definitely, this is a fun movie. This is a fun movie, guys. I would absolutely recommend this movie. I had a lot of fun with it. I can't believe I've never heard of it. It just feels like a movie that I should have heard of. So I'll give this movie like a 3.5 out of 5. So getting into the visuals of this. So this movie, like I said, it came out in 1989. It actually says on the back of this it came out in 1990. But it started doing like its festival run in 1989. It never really got a proper theatrical release. I guess it was just a little bit too niche. I'm sure people looked at this film and like, what the hell is this? Like, didn't know how to market it. So it never got that theatrical run, even though people in the festivals did praise this movie at the time. They thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, it got a VHS release in 1991. That's where it kind of developed its cult following, that kind of carried it through the 90s. Then it got a DVD release in 2008. From everything I saw, I don't think it has a foreign release or anything like that. I think this is the first time that this has came out on Blu-ray. The only thing that I'll say is there's this weird like blurring out of focus effect on a lot of the like wider shots on like some of the faces in the distance. It's just something I noticed, and I'm sure you guys are going to notice it too. But like when they pan out, everything up close looks great, good facial detail and everything like that. But when they pan out, sometimes the characters to like the far side of the screen, like you'll notice that their face is a little bit blurred out and out of focus. So I don't know if that's an intentional choice, like for when they actually made the movie. Maybe it's always been that way. And I even like looked at it on 2 different TVs, because I watched it on my 42-inch HD TV in my office when I watched it for the first time. So then I took it out there, checked it out on my 65-inch 4K TV, and it looked the same. So the same effect was on both TVs, because I wanted to double check and make sure it just wasn't my TV in here. So yeah, I don't know if it's something that it's always had, but it was definitely a little bit distracting. But overall, this is a solid transfer. So I can't really knock it too much, but it's just that blurring effect was a little bit distracting. The sound is really good, just listening to it on a soundbar, but it's got DTS HD master audio. So the standard sound for most of these Blu-ray releases. The packaging, getting into this packaging, I love the packaging on these releases. The artwork that they do on these is like Scream Factory quality. I just think it's fantastic. The Wraith had great artwork as well. And yeah, just really solid packaging. You know, you got the silver Vestron logo at the top that kind of goes all the way around. This is spine number 21 on this one. And then, you know, a nice little Blu-ray case, and you got some cool disc art, and you get a digital code in this, guys. That's another thing. Like, you don't get digital codes on most of the other boutique labels. So that's always appreciated to get these digital codes in there. So it is in one of those like eco packs, you know, kind of plastic saver cases. So, you know, it's not as sturdy as, you know, some of the other Blu-ray cases. But again, like these slip covers on these Vestron releases are really nice. The artwork's always super cool. I think this one especially, like I'd put this above the Wraith. I just think it's really freaking awesome artwork. You got Kerrigan on the front, Bruce Campbell down there at the bottom. So it's just really cool artwork on this. So high marks for that. Getting into the special features, guys, again, knocks it out of the park. Vestron knocked it out of the park with this release. So you get the audio commentary that was on the DVD between the director Anthony Hickok and director of photography Levi Isaacs. So that was on the DVD release. And then you also get the isolated score selections and audio interviews with music historian Randall Larson and producer Jefferson Richard. And you get new interviews, one from the director Wild Weird West, an interview with David Hickok, who directed this film, and getting into his filmography, what he's done. He called out how this is his favorite movie that he's ever done in his interview, because this was the one that he got a hand in writing. Like all the other stuff he did was all like pre-wrote for him. He came in as a director and didn't really have a hand in the screenwriting and stuff like that. So he did the movies Waxwork 1 and 2, which I haven't seen the Waxwork films. I'm pretty sure those both have Vestron releases though. He also did Warlock 2, which I know that one and the first one, I think those have like a Vestron set as well. Warlock 2, I think, is the only one of the Warlock franchise that I've actually seen. I've never seen the first one, but I remember watching Warlock Armageddon when I was a kid. And he also did Hellraiser 3. So the moment where the Hellraiser franchise took a steep dive into shit territory. So again, not his fault. I'm sure he just came in, took the gig, and directed the movie. And it's definitely the best of the Hellraiser sequels, but that's not exactly high praise. So he talks about it though. He says this is his favorite movie that he ever done. It's definitely better than Hellraiser 3. It's probably better than Warlock 2. I haven't seen that one in a really long time. So yeah, so that's a really cool little interview with the director, just giving his insights. And that's a brand new interview with this release as well. So that's really cool that they put that in there. So, and then you got, I mean, that's the thing I'm talking about, guys. These little small Vestron releases that are $13 at Walmart are giving you new interviews with the directors and the cast and crew and stuff. And you can't get that at a studio 4K releases. So it's like, it's crazy. What are you guys doing? You got these little guys over here pumping out incredible content on their releases, and you can't do the same. It's ridiculous. But and you also get Bloodsuckers from Purgatory, which is a new interview with a special effects makeup creator, Tony Gardner. That's where he kind of goes into the stuff that went wrong with the bats and the effects work that was done there. He kind of goes into why it looks so goofy when he talks about it. So that's an interesting interview. And then you get, these are all older interviews that was on the DVD 2008 release. This is an interview with Bruce Campbell, The Memories of Moab, the interview with Bruce Campbell. And then you get a Vampire Reformed interview with actor David Carradine. I don't know why I can't say his name. And a true character in an interview with actor Emmett Walsh. So that's the character actor guy that's in there. So I watched all of these special features. They were all really solid, giving some really good insights into the film. And yeah, it's just really cool. You also get theatrical trailers, still galleries. It's just really cool that you get new stuff in this release. And like I said, this is $13 at Walmart right now. So this is like a very high recommendation. I cannot recommend this one enough. So with that, guys, I appreciate you guys watching my review of this latest Vestron video release of Sundown, Vampire in Retreat. I don't know why I can't remember the title. Please like this video, guys. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already for more great physical media based content. Be sure to comment down below your thoughts on this movie if you've seen it or if you picked up this release. If you haven't, I'm going to be leaving the link down below. Definitely use that link, guys, and purchase this thing. It's great. But if you don't use the link, you can also find it probably in your local Walmart. So yeah, guys, I appreciate you watching, and turn on those bell notifications for all future videos, and we'll see you next time.